I used to laugh at those Reddit threads. You know the ones, people claiming they'd glitched into some piss-yellow labyrinth of endless office space. The back rooms, just another creepypasta, I thought. Something for bored teenagers to obsess over between TikTok videos. I'm not laughing anymore. It happened on March 12th. I was helping my sister move into her new apartment. Third floor, no elevator. We'd been hauling boxes for hours, and I was carrying a heavy bookshelf when I tripped on the landing between the second and third floors. I remember falling, bracing for impact, but the impact never came. Instead, I felt a sickening lurch, like missing a step in the dark, but 1,000 times worse. My stomach flipped, and for a split second, everything went black. Then the smell hit me. Damp carpet, old paper, that artificial scent of budget cleaning supplies that never quite masks the underlying mustiness. I opened my eyes to yellow, endless yellow. The walls were that awful shade of nicotine-stained cream that was all the rage in the 70s. The carpet, moist and matted, smelled like it hadn't been changed since then either. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, some flickering erratically, casting shadows that seemed to move when you weren't looking directly at them. I thought I was hallucinating at first. Maybe I'd hit my head when I fell, but the steady hum of the lights, the feeling of the damp carpet beneath my hands, the stifling air, it was all too real. I was in the back rooms. Level 0, the lobby of hell itself, day 1. I spent the first few hours convinced I was dreaming. I wandered through identical rooms interconnected by identical hallways calling out for help. My voice sounded wrong here, flat and dead, like the walls were swallowing the sound. No response came, except for the constant background hum. That goddamn hum. Imagine the sound of fluorescent lights, but tuned to the frequency of your anxiety. It's constant. Even when you think you've gotten used to it, you haven't. It crawls into your skull and nests there. I tried retracing my steps, but that's impossible here. There are no landmarks. Every room looks the same. Every hallway leads to more rooms that look just like the last ones. I'd turn a corner expecting something different, only to find myself in a space indistinguishable from where I'd just been. By what I guessed was nighttime, there's no way to tell here. The lights never turn off. I was dehydrated, hungry, and terrified. I curled up in a corner, using my jacket as a pillow, and tried to sleep. The hum wouldn't let me. Day 3. I found water on the second day, condensation dripping from some pipes in a ceiling panel. It tasted metallic and wrong, but I was desperate. I've been collecting it in an empty potato chip bag I found. Not ideal, but it's keeping me alive. Food has been harder. I've found odd things, half a granola bar wedged between the carpet and the wall, a pack of stale crackers on a forgotten desk. I'm rationing everything, taking tiny bites, trying to make it last. Today I heard something, not the hum, something else, a sort of wet shuffling sound like soaked shoes on carpet. I froze listening. It stopped, then started again, closer this time. I didn't wait to see what was making the noise. I ran. Blind panic carried me through a dozen identical rooms before I finally collapsed, gasping for breath. The sound didn't follow me, but I know what I heard wasn't my imagination. I'm not alone in here. Day 7. A week in, I think. Time feels slippery here. I've been trying to create a map, using a ballpoint pen I had in my pocket to mark the walls. The ink is running out, and the marks don't seem to help anyway. Sometimes I'll return to a place I know I've marked, only to find the walls clean. This place shifts when you're not looking, when you're sleeping. I'll wake up and the room will be subtly different. A wall where there wasn't one before, a doorway that used to be on the left now on the right. I've seen things too, just glimpses. Shadows that move wrong, ducking around corners just as I turned to look. Once, I swear I saw a hand, pale and too long with too many joints, pull back from a doorway as I approached. The worst part is the faces. Sometimes, if you stare at the patterns in the wallpaper long enough, they start to form faces. Not human ones. They watch you. I try not to look anymore. The shuffling noise comes and goes. I've started calling it the janitor, though I've never seen what makes the sound. Whatever it is, it seems more curious than aggressive. It follows sometimes, at a distance, but retreats if I turn too quickly. Still, I don't want to meet it face to face. Day 12. I found an office chair today that still rolls. It's a small comfort, but it's something. I've been pushing it ahead of me as I explore, using it to test the stability of the carpet. Some sections are soaked through and will give way under weight. I nearly fell through one yesterday. The floor beneath is just darkness. My hunger has become a constant companion. I've been licking moisture from the walls when I can't find pipe condensation. It's disgusting, but necessary. I had a breakthrough today. I've been noticing patterns in the hum. It gets louder in some areas, quieter in others. I've started following the quiet. It seems to lead me to more stable areas, with fewer of those watching faces in the wallpaper. The janitor is definitely following me now. It keeps its distance, but it's there, always just around a corner or in a room I've just left. Sometimes I talk to it, just to hear a voice, even if it's my own. I think it listens. God, I miss real human contact. I'd give anything to hear another voice. Day 15, I found another person today. At least, I thought I did. I caught a glimpse of someone turning a corner, not shuffling like the janitor, but walking upright. I called out and chased after them. When I rounded the corner, there was just another endless hallway. I kept following, catching glimpses of movement ahead. Finally, I entered a large room and saw them, a figure standing with their back to me.
Hello?
I called out. They turned slowly. It had my face. Not quite right, the proportions were wrong, the eyes too wide, the mouth stretched in an impossible smile, but unmistakably, my face. I ran. I ran until my lungs burned and my legs gave out. When I finally collapsed, I was in an unfamiliar section. The carpet here is a different shade, darker, more brown than yellow. The hum is different too, lower, more like a growl than a buzz. I think I've wandered into a different part of the back rooms. The janitor is gone. I almost miss it. Day 18. I haven't moved much since my encounter with whatever that was. I've found a relatively dry corner and have been recovering my strength. My feet are blistered and raw from constant walking in damp shoes. The darker section has its own rhythm. The lights flicker in patterns here, almost like code. I've been watching them, trying to decipher some meaning. There isn't one. I know that logically, but it gives me something to focus on besides my hunger and fear. I found a break room today, an actual break room with a refrigerator and everything. My heart nearly stopped from excitement, but the fridge was empty except for a single bottle of water that had turned a concerning shade of green. The cabinets held nothing but empty coffee mugs and plastic utensils. Still, I took the utensils. The plastic forks might be useful, and one of the drawers had a dull butter knife. It's not much of a weapon, but it's something. The face thing hasn't appeared again, but I've seen other things, things that don't belong. A child's toy abandoned in the middle of a hallway. A single high-heeled shoe perfectly placed in a doorway. A desk with fresh flowers in a vase, actually fresh, not wilted or dead. These things appear and then disappear when I look away. I don't touch them anymore. The one time I did, picked up a cell phone I found on the carpet. It melted in my hand, turning to black sludge that left burn marks on my palm. The Backrooms doesn't like you touching things that don't belong. Day 21, 3 weeks in this nightmare. My clothes smell like the carpet now, that mixture of mold and dust that clings to everything. I've lost weight. My belt needs an extra notch, which I made using the butter knife. I had a dream last night, the first real sleep I've had since arriving. In my dream, I was back in my apartment, everything normal, except all the furniture was covered in yellow wallpaper. My sister was there asking about the bookshelf I was supposed to help her move.
You never showed up.
She kept saying.
You just disappeared.
I woke up crying, actually crying for the first time since I got here. The dream felt so real, and waking up to these yellow walls was like falling all over again. After I pulled myself together, I noticed something had changed. There was a door in the room that hadn't been there before. Not one of the usual doorways that lead to identical rooms. An actual door, wooden with a brass handle. I approached it cautiously, remembering the melting phone. The door seemed solid enough, I placed my ear against it and heard something incredible. Silence. No hum. Just perfect, beautiful silence. I tried the handle. Locked. I've been sitting here staring at it for hours, wondering if I should try to break it down. What if it's a way out? What if it's a trap? What if it's nothing at all? Just another hallucination from my starving brain? The butter knife isn't strong enough to pry it open. I need something better. Day 23. I left the door behind, marking its location as best I could. I need to find tools if I'm going to open it. The janitor is back. I heard its familiar shuffle yesterday and actually felt relieved. A known entity is better than the unknown horrors I've glimpsed in this darker section. Today I found something strange. A maintenance closet. An actual logical feature in this illogical place. Inside were cleaning supplies, a mop bucket, and, miracle of miracles, a crowbar. The supplies looked used, recently used. The mop was still damp. Something is maintaining this place. I took the crowbar and ran. It's heavy in my hands, reassuringly solid, both a tool and a weapon. I've been making my way back to the door following my marks, when they're still there, and the memory of the path I took. On my way, I saw something that stopped me cold. A figure in blue coveralls standing at the end of a long hallway, its back to me. It was pushing a mop bucket. The janitor. It must have heard me because it started to turn. I ducked into a room before I could see its face, if it has one. I waited, heart pounding, until the familiar shuffling sound passed beneath me. I'm hiding now, clutching the crowbar, wondering if I've made a terrible mistake by taking it. Will the janitor come looking for its stolen tool? Is it intelligent enough to track me? Too late to worry about that now. I need to find that door again. Day 25, I found the door again, though the room around it had changed. The wallpaper was peeling in long strips, revealing concrete underneath. The carpet was gone, replaced by bare subfloor. I didn't hesitate. I jammed the crowbar into the gap and pushed with all my remaining strength. The door resisted, then gave with a splintering crack. Beyond was darkness, pure, absolute darkness. No hum, no light at all. I stood frozen in the doorway. After weeks in the constant fluorescent glare, the darkness was both terrifying and alluring. What if this was just another level of the backrooms? What if it was worse? But what choice did I have? I was about to step through when I heard it. The shuffle. Close. Too close, right behind me. I turned slowly. The janitor stood there, its mop clutched in hands that were almost human but not quite. Too pale, too many joints, fingers too long. Its face was hidden beneath the brim of a blue cap, but I could feel it watching me. It raised one elongated hand, pointing at the crowbar I still held.
Is this yours?
My voice cracked from disuse.
I'm sorry, I needed it.
The janitor didn't respond. It just stood there, pointing. Slowly, I held out the crowbar. The janitor hesitated, then reached for it with those impossible fingers. As it took the crowbar, its cap shifted, and I caught a glimpse of its face. It had my face. Not the twisted version I'd seen before, but my face. Tired, scared, dirty from weeks in this place. I stumbled backward in shock, through the open door, into the darkness beyond. Day 30. I've been in the darkness for 5 days now. It's different here. No walls, no carpet, no hum, just solid ground beneath my feet and an endless void around me. But there's something else, a light in the distance, faint but growing stronger as I walk toward it. It doesn't look like the sickly fluorescence of level 0. It's warm, natural. I think it might be sunlight. I've been walking steadily toward it, stopping only when exhaustion forces me to. The silence is incredible after so long with that constant hum. I can hear myself think again. The janitor hasn't followed me here. Nothing has. I'm truly alone for the first time since entering the backrooms. The face of the janitor haunts me. My own face, looking back at me. What does it mean? Was it trying to warn me? Help me? Was it even real or just another hallucination? I may never know. All I can do now is keep moving toward the light. It's getting brighter. I can almost feel warmth on my skin. After a month in the damp chill of level 0, it feels like a miracle. I think I'm going to make it out. God, I hope I'm right. If anyone reads this, if you find yourself in a place of yellow walls and wet carpet and buzzing lights, don't give up. Keep moving. Look for the patterns. And if you find a door that shouldn't be there, sometimes you have to be brave enough to go through it. The light is close now. I can see details, trees, I think, a sky, colors that aren't yellow or brown. I'm running now toward the light, toward home. This is the last I'll write. Either I make it back to our world to tell my story in person, or I don't make it at all. But know this, the backrooms are real, and it is possible to escape. Addendum found scrawled on the back of the final page. I made it out, but something followed me. Sometimes out of the corner of my eye, I see yellow wallpaper where there shouldn't be any. And at night, if I listen carefully, beneath the normal sounds of my apartment, I can hear it. The hum, it never really leaves you.